Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you are doing well. I am guided by Spirit. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. Disclaimer: all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So I'm going to be looking at the Nicola Tesla case, and I was just doing personal research around him because I'm developing a further system to what I'm using currently, using the 369 sequence, which he actually speaks about. Now, I know he was an inventor, and of course we all know that, but I didn't know the circumstances behind his passing. And when I started doing research, that intrigued me, of course. And the cause of his death, a lot of people believe, is he had invented this death ray and he was trying to sell it off to different countries. And the old Soviet Union in those days were interested. Nazi Germany was interested. And of course, as the story goes, he alerted authorities at the beginning of January 1943 that he needed to speak to them because of this invention. So we will have a look at that. I just want to look at his date of birth from a profile point of view. Born July the 10th, 1856. So I must just say, obviously there's a lot of rumors going around of who actually Nikola Tesla was and his connection with aliens, etc. But I must say, having researched a movie during the period of the 1800s, late 1800s, to see a gentleman born in 1856, and I believe a tragic ending in his passing, but passed in 1943. I mean, for someone born in the middle of the 19th century, and to make it as long as he did, very, very interesting. So let's have a look at his date of birth here. So he has the 7 from the July. He has the 10 in the 10-1 in the day that he's born. And then the year that he's born in adds up to a 20 with an outcome 2, which gives him the 17-8 in the day. Now, if we just look at the first part, very interesting. He has very big numbers, the 10-1s, the 20 with an outcome 2, and we note in the outcome sequence he has the 10-1s. So lots of ingenuity going on in the 17-8, in particularly the 8. So the 8 speaks about the science, the engineering, the mechanics, and 7 speaks about invention. And of course, he is known for many patents and many creations, but I'm not going to go into all of them because it would take months and months of research, of a lifetime of work, right? But so in other words, he has all the right numbers in being the inventor, the engineering of those ideas. And when you're looking at 20 with an outcome 2 as the masses. And I picked this up in a previous show that I did within the alien shows that I did, that there is the existence of free energy, or the possibility of free energy existed. And we all know why that is not the case today. And that is why we are living in an hypocritical world, when you've got these money mongers, power mongers holding on to a sustainable earth. And when you hear these puppets on the stage talking about climate change and all this nonsense, in fact it was even raised in the Mr. Lynch case that, this must be climate change. So I find it very hypocritical that all these people in power speak about climate change when the knowledge and information is available for free technology, which they're aware of, but they choose to pollute the skies. Big hypocrites. So in his numbers, what I like here is the 3710-1. And if we're looking on a personal basis, so here's the inventor. He's going great guns here. He is inventing. And we have the 2810-1 speaks about bringing the engineering side of it to fruition. So if we just go back to the 3710-1, here's the idea invention. He makes it practically with the aid of his eights. And the 2810-1 is, we're looking at mass production here. Mass production, right? 1910-1, very good business ideas. So the 9 speaks about inventions as well. And creating those inventions through 7 and 8. And he has an outcome 10-1. So we know in the end days that he lived on humble means. But based on his numbers here, he could have been a billionaire, this guy. And we know he could have been. But why wasn't he? So when we get to the sequence of events of his passing, now he was in his 80s. So the reports say that he died of a heart attack. Okay, that's the current standing. Now, to take you through the sequence of events, his body was discovered on January the 7th. Okay, now let's just look at that day, for example. January the 7th, we see the year that this crime takes place in 1943. We have the 17-8, which pings on Tesla. But interestingly, on the day of discovery, we see here we have an 8 plus an 8 standoff. So here we have the conflict. And this is the conflict that everyone knows and is aware of. That he has this mechanical information, engineering information, communication knowledge. But it has created a conflict. Now, just looking at the articles again yesterday, it must be quite something to create a weapon that can destroy people miles and miles and miles and miles away, like lightning storms, thunderstorms, death rays, all this information that this gentleman tested over the years has gone into the knowledge vaults of the US. So, further information about the case, when he's discovered on January the 7th, there was a do not disturb sign on the door, apparently for like 2 days. So let's call it these 2 days. This is based on information. So if we have to look at the sequence, something has happened here where Nicola Tesla has passed and I believe was murdered. Okay. So what do we have here? All these days leading up, January the 3rd, January the 4th, is I've marked in orange, because on January the 3rd, now he would have already made the phone call to the Department of Defense, or in that department, that he has this idea. So January the 3rd, we already start trying to pick up a trail of what happened here. And we see a number like 21-3, which speaks about abduction, kidnapping, restraint. And I believe in the case of Mr. Tesla here, that's when things started. And we see a 4 at the start of a day. Now 4, and this was very prevalent during the sick years, speaks about restriction and boundaries. So I'm already feeling that he's been limited here already. We have a 5 in the middle of the day, which is not a good thing. And we have the outcome 22-4, 13-4, 4. Now, the outcome of the days leading up to discovery all ping on 3 respective groups or agencies. January the 4th pings directly on Department of Defense. We can note the outcome number there, life path. Then we see on January the 5th, 1943. So this is the sequence here where his room has been locked. And I'm going to call it from here, with a do not disturb sign. They would have taken the time to get all the information out. And here, the 4 also speaks about documentation. 4. 22.4 speaks about manuscripts. 22.4. Bigger volumes of literature, paperwork. And the interesting thing about a 4, when we're looking at administration and paperwork, these are legal documents. So in other words, we know there's reports that the safe where he housed his documents was opened and stolen. So here we have the documents here, the 4, the 13.4 and 22.4. The 22.4 is your pack of documents and includes patents. So why is it pinging on the Department of Defense when he called them to say, guys, I've got information or a weapon that you might be interested in? Curious that their outcome numbers here. January the 5, we see the 5 at the start of the day, foul play. That's why I believe this is the day here. Yeah. 13.4 speaks about a death. But what do we have here? The next day we have this 5 again, which is foul play. The story as we know it is a lie. So what do they say? He died of a heart attack. Okay, there's a 6. I can say there's a 6, which indicates heart attack. But the day still ends with a 14.5. Bullshit. And the 6, in fact, yeah, it says it here. January the 6th, we have the 6, poison, in my opinion, poison, which creates this death of innocence. Death of innocence. 7. And the outcome of this day pings on 24/6/56 FBI. So already we're seeing in the zone where everything takes place for Mr. Tesla is when everything goes down. And look who are the people that are there. The 23/14/5 is the exact same American number, but it tells us 5, foul play, 6, so they say heart attack, poison, 14.5. The poison, 6, has brought about a death of innocence by people he knew. 24/6/15/6, by people he knew, that he's familiar with. So the reason for his death, as it would be, and this is what it's all about, was his inventions and his patents and his paperwork. And we note in the +6 reflection zone, we have organizational numbers. And that is also Mr. Tesla there. (11)2, unlawful act, illegal, unlawful act. By organizations, and it pings directly on him as well. Okay. So there's an organization, 10.1, that has committed an illegal crime or an illegal activity that impacted Mr. Tesla. and I'll put my money on the line and say +9 reveals the real culprit here. And I will explain these reflection cycles. About a month or so ago, I discovered the 369 sequence with numerology in reflecting a crime. Because obviously some crimes, even though with numbers, can be difficult to interpret. But the 369 gives me that sequence. And then, of course, because I listen to a lot of meditation music, I started seeing the Nicola Tesla 936 sequence music and things like that, and then started looking at Mr. Tesla himself. And I find it very interesting that through numerology, and he speaks about the 1 to 9, breaking down the numbers, and Pythagoras did the same, is bringing the numbers down to a single digit level. I am exploring some other theories around the 369, but clearly we can see that, in my opinion, Nicola Tesla was murdered 13-4, and includes the paperwork. Foul play 14-5, and again the 22-4, 13-4. Now the difference with the 9 sequence revealed here. So if we had to compare the 0 day, which I believe this is the day here, we see the 22-4, 13-4, right? Now it shows here again, but with the +9 it reveals more information. There's a corpse here, 31-4. So there's definitely foul play here, and was not a natural death by any means. But yeah, man, what a huge amount of information on this gentleman. And of course, he spent a lifetime building all of this information. So interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my thoughts on the Nikola Tesla demise. And of course, there's technologies that he created 100 years ago or 80 years ago that are being used today, with drone flights, remote control, etc. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I truly appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.